Are we good? Okay. My name is Raven Culver, and I had an encyclical Divas in Misericordia, which is essentially the problem of evil. So, number 1. He who sees me sees the Father. Through Christ's revelation, we know God, especially in his relationship of love towards man, and particularly in his mercy, which Christ himself personifies. He himself, in a certain sense, is mercy. The truth revealed in Christ about God the Father of mercies enables us to see him as particularly close to man, especially when man is suffering, when he is under threat at the very heart of his existence and dignity. The mystery of divine mercy is a unique appeal to the Church. Revelation and faith teach us not only to meditate in the abstract upon the mystery of God as Father of mercies, but also to have recourse to that mercy in the name of Christ and in union with him. Number 2. The Messianic Message. Through his actions and words, Christ makes the Father present among men. In fact, with his lifestyle, Jesus Christ shows the presence in the world in which we live of the love that addresses itself to man and embraces all his humanity. The mode and sphere in which love manifests itself in biblical language is called mercy. Christ, by becoming the incarnation of the love that is manifested with particular force with regard to the suffering, the unfortunate, and sinners, makes present and thus more fully reveals the Father. Now, Jesus gave a parable of the prodigal son, which was the essence of divine mercy, is expressed in a specific way in the parable. That son, who received from the Father the portion of his inheritance that is due to him, and squanders it, is the man of every period, beginning with the one who was the first to lose the inheritance of grace and original justice. The parable indirectly touches upon every breach of the covenant of love, every loss of grace, every sin. The prodigal son squanders and loses something more important than his material goods, his dignity as a son in his father's house. When he becomes aware of this loss, he decided to return to his father's house and ask him to treat him like one of his day workers. The behavior of the parent in the parable reveals to us God as the Father, who is faithful to the love that he has always lavished on his son. This fidelity is expressed in the readiness, joy, and affection with which he always welcomes his son when he returns. Now, this is saying that God will always treat us with the same respect, with the same love and mercy that this same Father showed to that prodigal son who squandered every last penny he had. And this is the way that it will always be. Number 3, the Old Testament. The Old Testament teaches that although justice is an authentic virtue in man and in God signifies transcendent perfection, nevertheless, love is greater than justice, greater in the sense that it is primary and fundamental. The primacy and superiority of love vis-a-vis justice are revealed precisely through mercy. The foundation of this relationship between justice and mercy in God dates back to the very mystery of creation. God, as creator, has linked himself to his creature with a particular love. Number 4, the Paschal Mystery. The divine dimension of the redemption uncovers the depth of God's love, which does not recoil before the extraordinary sacrifice of the Son, in order to satisfy the fidelity of the Creator and Father towards human beings. Oh snap. The mystery of the redemption is the ultimate and definitive revelation of the holiness of God, who is the absolute fullness of perfection, fullness of justice, and of love. In the passion and death of Christ, absolute justice is expressed. For Christ undergoes the passion and cross because of the sins of humanity. Jesus went through absolute suffering, absolute pain, in order for us to live the lives that we choose today. And I think most people would agree that that is a sign of mercy and a sign of love that none of us would be able to express. The 5th and final point that I would like to express is mercy from generation to generation and in the mission of the Church. One might ask whether justice can be an effective remedy for the evil and the threats which populate the planet. In the modern world, the sense of justice has been reawakened on a vast scale, and yet it would be difficult not to notice that very often programs which start from the idea of justice, in practice, suffer from distortions. It is obvious, in fact, that in the name of an alleged justice, the neighbor is sometimes destroyed, killed, deprived of liberty, or stripped of fundamental human rights. And we need to do that. The experience of the past in our own time demonstrates that justice alone is not enough, that it can even lead to the negation and destruction of itself if that deeper power, which is love, is not allowed to shape human life in its various dimensions. The Church professes and proclaims mercy, and the most stupendous attribute, what are you doing, of the Creator and of the Redeemer, when she brings people close to the sources of the Savior's mercy. Particularly important in this area is conscious and mature participation and in the Eucharist and in the sacrament of penance or reconciliation. The Eucharist brings us ever nearer to that love which is more powerful than death. And that is Divas in Misericordia. Thank you.